you don't have to be religious to want to share joy and bring that to other people and help them have it in their life. Or you can be religious. Either one, I think joy is really a birthright. We were all born with it. And if we've seemed to have lost it, it's just a matter of steps to get it back.
Hey everyone, this is Kim O'Neill from the Every Day is a New Day podcast and live show, and you're listening to the Going North podcast with the hilarious Dom Brightman. Be sure to subscribe to his show so you don't miss any episodes, and remember, every day is always a new day.
Today's episode is sponsored by the book that will empower you, encourage you, and through its expression help you to advance to your next level. Stay the Course, The Elite Performers, 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success by this guy right here you're hearing. And the good news is you can now hear the book on audiobook. So head over to Amazon.com or Audible.com or Apple Music, pick up the audiobook. And that's today's sponsor. Go out and buy a copy or a few of Stay the Course, The Elite Performers, 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success, and advance north to your next level of greatness. And today on the highlight reel builder for authors known as the Going North podcast, aka GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, we got one heck of a super special guest for you today, courtesy of my good buddy, Mr. Eminem himself. No, not the candy rapper. No, not the wonderful rapper. We're talking about Mr. Mickey Mickelson himself, baby. That's right. Because my goodness, you're in for a freaking treat that's good enough to freaking eat, metaphorically speaking. Because not only is she a best-selling author, she's a consultant specialist in emotional well-being, a fellow podcaster, as well as an influencer who lives out in the wonderful city of Santa Monica, California, with her husband and her 2 mini schnauzers. And when she's not working with her clients or writing a new shiny book, she enjoys wilderness hiking, world travel, and recharging outdoors in her favorite hammock. And funny enough, one of her best-kept secrets, which kind of is an open secret at this point, is that she is a medieval history hobbyist with a special interest in medieval women writers. So let's give it up for Miss AES herself, the woman full of action and superiority, because she's freaking fabulous, Anne Scottlin. How you doing today, Anne?
I am doing great, Don. How are you? You already made my evening, and we've been talking for like 4 minutes. Oh my, yeah, I'm gonna be goofy tonight. All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Wonderful intro, thank you. That was great. Correction though, I didn't update my bio in the last 7 days, and I just adopted my 3rd mini schnauzer. His name is Bentley, and he's adorable 9-year-old. And so now I have a herd, or a pack, but they make me very happy. Love my dogs.
Oh, well, hat trick ahoy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, sweet, she already knows the flow of the show, because I always ask, like, hey, with all introductions, they're not allowed to be 76 and a half days long, so am I filling in any cavities I missed about you? But hey, you already filled a cavity. Any other cavities you want to add to the metaphorical mouth of teeth?
Whoa. No, but I had to have a root canal last week.
Oh, damn. Are you serious?
I kid you not. I still have the hole where he has like, well, just let it sit and make sure everything's good, and then come back, and then, another week, and then we'll seal it up. And I'm like, oh God, I got to go back. But otherwise, dentally well.
Mickey gains 5,000 experience points for this one.
I hope he listens to this one.
Dentally well, I freaking love it. So my goodness, you are living one heck of a wonderful life, because my goodness, one thing I know I forgot to mention is that you also have a background as an actor as well. You've played many roles too. Not even egg rolls either.
No, or sushi. That's what I had for sushi for dinner.
That's why she California rolled all the way to Idaho,
That's
apparently.
Right. I'm a California girl all the way because I'm a non-preachy vegetarian, and California rolls are my rolls. There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, man. Well, I was going to save this question for later, but I'm going to go ahead and jump it out now. So I remember listening to one of your past interviews a few years ago, and it was actually interesting because you mentioned you lived 10 years in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So do you feel like that helped you with some of your roles, especially one of the roles where you played as the chick with the leopard print?
You found it. Oh, no. This is my worst fear. Yes, it did. And you know where we shot that now when I was shooting that? It was in California, but we literally shot it in a real legit trailer park. It was not a set. And yeah, those were some early gig acting days for Discovery ID, but boy, we had fun. I'm running around in a leopard print leotard with an ice pick because I have someone in mind I'm going to take out. I don't think my husband even watched it. He's like, I don't want to know. I'm like, you know. Oh God, the fun. Yeah, we did. We went full out on that one. Full out redneck, and it was fun.
So you don't want to save it as a horror movie for one day where he tries to win an argument?
Yeah, right. We'll think about that. We'll put that on the back burner.
That's right. They say happy wife, happy life. It's like, you know what? I give up on that one. It's like, hey, remember this role with me and the ice pick and the leopard print? Okay, happy wife, happy life. All right, you win.
That's right. He's like, I like you when you do those humanitarian features. I'm like, yeah, me too. Yeah, I got to shoot a really interesting one a few years back called Silent Cry, and it was a docudrama about the Iran Revolution and a lot of the humanitarian crisis that went on during that time. And I play an investigative reporter as a lead, and we shot in US, and then we also shot for a month in Paris and other parts of France, and because that's where a lot of the refugees went. So of course I was interviewing actors, but we were in the right location, so that was fun. I didn't complain. I'm like, you take me to France for a month, I'll go. So that was fun, except for the shot under the Eiffel Tower right along the river where in the story it's winter and I'm wearing a wool plaid coat, but it was August in Paris and it was 105 degrees and super humid. So I'm wearing this coat, trying to pretend to be cold, and the sweat is dripping off my chin. And the makeup lady's like, no, I'm trying. What do you want me to do? But yeah, you never know what those actors are going through. When you watch it later, you have no idea. I basically caught hypothermia on a set in San Francisco back in the old days. I was doing some background stuff, and that San Francisco Bay fog was drifting in. That stuff is 52 degrees. It'll chill you to the bone. And we were at a summer cocktail party on a major CBS show. So even though it was 51 degrees and windy, we're in cocktail dresses and heels, standing out there shaking. But then whenever they were rolling, we had to not shake because we had to look like it was warm and enjoyable. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, I need to get you back on the East Coast for during the winter. That ain't no cold. Freaking 51 degrees. 51 degrees chilly, okay.
Yeah, no, one mountain place where I spent a lot of time during COVID is at 5,000 feet elevation. So we had many days where the low got down to 7. I think the lowest last winter was -7. So I am also reclimatizing a little, but I don't know. The older you get, the colder it gets. That's what I think. wait a minute, this used to be fun.
Yep, definitely interesting. That's more like it. 7 degrees and -7. There we go. That's cold. That's what we're talking about. There we go.
That's legit.
There we go. That's the legit cold. There we go.
I go outside though. I look like a snowman. I have like so many layers on. I can't move my arms. I'm freezing.
So is that what the S in Scotland stands for? Snowman, in this case, snow woman?
Yeah, snow woman. Yeah, there you go. That'll work.
So my goodness. Also in the magical bio, I mentioned they had one very unusual upbringing. So my goodness, do you feel like what made it unusual? Is that what led you to become an actor among many things that you do?
Wow. Probably.
There you go. Probably. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, indeed.
I was just waiting to see what you were going to say. No, for sure. I think acting, and then also, a decade ago, moving into the wellness industry, moving into my own brand around joy. Yeah, definitely all had a lot to do with how I grew up.
There you go. That's right. A wonderful conservative household, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, very. So, yeah, Pacific Northwest, well-educated parents who decided to go live far, far away in the boondocks and pretty much prepare for the end. And wonderful people. I learned a lot from them, but it was a very unusual existence. I had little to no social life, was homeschooled until I was 15 and a half. And then I went to a very conservative religious school after that. So yeah, for an artistic, expressive person who loves people, it was not, it wasn't a picnic. Let's just put it that way. So, but it's interesting because when you're in at least some religious environments, if you're not joyful, you're failing at your job. And what I found was ironic was that I was doing all the parts of the job that are expected of you, but I wasn't authentically joyful. I was depressed. I was repressed. I didn't have any clear picture of my future or what I wanted it to look like. So as I evolved out of that space, even into my 20s, I really decided what I wanted to do was really get in touch with my joy and live from that place. And it was a journey. And once I did connect to it, it was such a burden off your chest when you connect to your authentic self, to your joy, where you're not ashamed of yourself anymore, where you're not living in guilt 100% of the time. And I'm like, you don't have to be religious to want to share joy and bring that to other people and help them have it in their life. Or you can be religious. Either one, I think joy is really a birthright. We were all born with it. We had it. And if we've seemed to have lost it, it's just a matter of steps to get it back.
Yeah, that's right. To get it back, indeed. That's right. And not just like Stella either. That's right. Got to get it back, indeed.
Oh my God.
I told you corn cobs were going to appear here.
I love it. I'm game.
Oh, well, I love it. And I love what you said there about authentic joy, because a lot of folks may hear the word joy, but then again, a lot of folks may not hear the two words together, authentic joy, in this wonderful era of where authenticity is kind of really required and people really want more of it, since a lot of folks feel like, oh, we're in this play world of social media where things are real but not real. So what helped you to really find your own level of authentic joy? And I know we could probably find more in your lovely book, Live for Joy, as well.
Yes.
I know you're grabbing it. And holding it.
I'm like, I'm holding my baby here. I'm like, no, I wish I could show it to your fans. But in case anyone sees this recording version, I am holding it up, Live for Joy. So I'm holding up my hardcover copy. It's a great book, 280 some pages. It's gorgeous, artful book. So what I really wanted to write, and then I will definitely come back to your point, as in what can we do? I really wanted to write a personal empowerment book that would give you written and visual food for thought, even if you only had 2 minutes. Because not everyone's going to read a whole personal empowerment book or even have time to listen to it. So that's what I did. I wrote very succinct messages, all original. And then every message is opposite a full page image of color photography or beautiful artwork. And the message and the artwork are tightly connected. Like I spent months selecting those because I wanted to be more of a, almost an immersive experience. So while there's a digital version that is beautiful, this book loves to be in your hands. It just is. It's a beautiful coffee table book, bedside table book, and yet it's also so incredibly useful and practical. So it's been really exciting launching that in the last couple of months. And when you ask, like, what do we do to relaunch the joy? Was that basically what you were going for there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I was just thinking that relaunching the joy, there's so many things to choose from. My goodness. Well, I'll tell you a little bit. So there's 12 chapters. This will give you a little clue. There's 12 chapters, and each chapter brings you 12 ways to inspire your self-awareness, support a mindset of a joyful, more authentic life. So that's it's content that's organized in a way to be useful for, like, what are you dealing with right now? It doesn't have to be read cover to cover. It can be read need by need. It can be read day by day. So, it starts with waking up your potential, which a lot of us, when we're not in the present moment, we're not embracing the potential of the moment, which means we're not embracing our own potential. So that's an area. One I really love is chapter 3, which is be a benevolent world citizen. I think that one's kind of fun. And it's like an unusual chapter. But to me, part of living a joyful life, of emotional wellness, of overall happiness, is being a functional part of your greater world. Are you willing to be more open-minded? Are you willing to try on different perspectives? And a lot of times, especially during COVID, right? A lot of really lonely people feeling really isolated and feeling very sorry for themselves. Well, I don't blame them. But what if you turn those tables of being lonely and go find someone else who's lonely and perk up their day? I say joy's like a boomerang. When you throw it out, it comes back to you. So I think that's a really interesting place, is kind of getting out of the complete self-focus. That's one point. And really engaging in your world, because when you do that and you bring joy to others, you're going to get it back and then some.
There you go. Getting it back and then some, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Indeed. That's right. Joy is a boomerang indeed. That's right, folks. So throw out some joy, get it right back at you. It's like a giant, magical, metaphorical mirror force, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right.
I like it.
Love it.
I like it.
See.
I got a couple pieces of mirror art and photography in this book too. I love mirrors. Yeah, I feel like they're such great metaphorical tools.
Medical and metaphorical. That's right. It's M&M. There's chocolate in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's M&M. Absolutely. But yeah, shoot out any other questions about the book or the content or concepts.
That's right. Speaking of the concepts, is there a question that you wish you be asked more often about the book when you're on the guest side of the game on these podcasts?
I'd really like that. Probably, what is my wish for the reader? Because that has nothing to do with sales. There could be one reader, right? I don't know. I've never thought about this question before. I think my wish for the reader is to have an experience that really opens up your heart, helps heal your wounds, energizes you to live in your best self and to overflow with that joy to those around you, and really kind of be a happy healing experience. This isn't a therapy book. This is more of, let's get really honest with ourselves. And then from that point, let's move forward into maximizing our potential, into living the best life version of our life that we can live. I think even in my introduction, it says the version. It says, this book is dedicated to you for your courage to find your joy in living your best version of yourself. Because that really is. I mean, if I could help one person with this book to believe in themselves again, to muster the courage to do that thing that seemed really hard for them, to learn to listen to their own inner genius, which is a chapter, like, you're wise, you have so much wisdom, and we don't often tap into that. In fact, I want to talk about that for 1 second.
Go ahead.
So the inner genius. So it actually used to be, so my podcast is called Scottlin Talks, but it used to be in its earlier stages, its earlier iteration was called Your Inner Genius, because it's very much about your own wisdom, like what comes from deep within. And when you're at a crossroads in your life, or you need to make a decision, or you're feeling doubtful, I say, you know what? Collect the data. If you're going to make a decision, do your homework, collect the data. But then do yourself an emotional wellness favor and give yourself a triple bypass. Triple bypass. He's still recovering. You ready for my triple bypass?
Sure, let's go for it.
Triple bypass when you are needing to make a decision or really get in touch with your truth. Bypass the mind. We use it way too much. Bypass the heart, not always, but in this exercise around decision making. And thirdly, bypass the ego, which will always lie to you, and go with your gut. The gut feeling is what I call the inner genius. For me, I even feel it in that center space of my body, but you could be anywhere that is meaningful to you. Other people would say inner genius, gut feeling, the universe, divine inspiration, any of those things is that wisdom that is inside you. It's that wisdom that you have as a gift. And it's so smart. And I've learned in my own life that when I listen to it, when I get out of my ego, when I get out of my head, even my heart, making decisions about a relationship, right? When I go to my gut, when I go to that still small voice, whatever you want to call it, and just really sit with it, it's really clear what I'm supposed to do. You have an inner genius, super wise. Tap into it and start learning to trust yourself. Because once you really start learning to trust yourself, you can really relax and start living a joyful life.
That's what I'm talking about. You're so right, indeed, because it's such a stark difference, like even just from a regular day-to-day movement, especially if athletic standpoint. It's like if you really trust yourself and your body, you feel a lot different as opposed to having a tinge of fear about a certain thing. If you get like injured or something, you're trying to perform a certain movement. Like when you fully trust yourself and your abilities, you can feel fully free and move really fast, to feel almost like a cloud, like you're a floating cloud, soft, flying and free in a wonderful, bright, sunny day.
I love that. Actually, it never actually occurred to me that sports analogy is excellent. You're absolutely right. Trusting yourself. The same was true back in the acting training days. Trust yourself, trust your responses. Don't think about it. You won't come across as natural or real or authentic. Just trust yourself and be present. And I had an acting teacher tell me years ago, I was really mad at him at the time. He said, I was learning. He's like, Anne, you're a terrible actor. And I'm like, whoa. He said, But when you're connected to your truth, when you're connected at your gut, he's like, you move the room to tears. And I said, okay, wow. And what's amazing about it, it was an uncomfortable moment, but it actually taught me, it was a life lesson too. When I'm really in that honest, authentic space, not only am I doing myself a favor in my life, my decisions, my relationships, but everyone else too. And that freedom, like you said in the sports, like the freedom to trust your body, to know it's going to do what it's supposed to do, and to just go with your instinct, right? Instinct and intuition. That's a magical place.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So magical, it doesn't need a wand at all. That's right.
No wand at all. No fairy dust, no stardust, no dust.
No old dusty trail either.
No dust. Yeah, no. Yeah. In fact, I think that is the magic wand. Your inner genius, it really is. It is. It's the part that everyone's terrified to listen to. So most people tune it out. Even your conscience, depending on how different people are going to define that, or, from a psychological perspective or a spiritual perspective, is still in your head. The real magic wand is your inner genius, your gut, your wisdom, being excruciatingly honest with yourself, if that's what it takes to be free. Let's go deep now.
That's what I'm
We're getting deep,
about.
man.
Yes, indeed. From authentic joy to excruciating honesty. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. That's right. And if folks are taking those first two letters like, excruciating honesty. Like,
Right?
no. No.
Yeah.
Powerful story there about that experience with the teacher who made that nasty comment at the time about being a bad actor, but really actually showing you that, hey, there's actually another part that you probably need to tap into. And that actually leads to a question that I sometimes like to ask folks: is there a particular failure, even if it may be your greatest, if not close to greatest failure, that actually led to one of your biggest life victories?
Yeah. So coming from a really conservative background, no TV, no radio, no fiction. I mean, you really couldn't get much more isolated and still live in the real world at all. Feeling guilty about everything because the rules were so strict, navigating from that through, into college, and, starting to kind of get my ground, and then out of college. But I still had a very limited view of the world. I went to a religious college. I was in the dorm. There are absolute truths, I think, in spirituality, but there's also a lot of myths that get tangled up and fed to us. And a lot of those myths were that if you obey all the rules, everything will work out fine in the end.
Was.
And so I tried to obey all the rules. Wasn't a lot of joy in that. I'll just let you know. So I very limited view of the world, got married very young. Pretty much my identity was caught up in being the, perfect 1950s housewife and being spiritual and keeping up appearances, the drill. And I kind of, in my marriage, I was very much sort of the backseat person in that regard, where it was all so-and-so and his wife. I kind of lost my identity in that space for several years, where it just became like, this is my job. This is what's going to happen with my life. But I had totally lost connection with my own sense of vision or purpose, or like, what in the world, what was my calling at all for real in life? If I went to the inner genius, if I skipped all the hundreds of voices that had opinions for me and went to my inner genius, what would that be? So the point of really heart-wrenching failure was realizing that I had married a sociopathic type person who ended up living double, triple life at different houses, different women, different cars, different states in our marriage. And when I finally found all that out, it pulled the rug out for me like I cannot explain to you. Because every sort of belief system and theory and philosophy that I lived by, it all came crashing in. Like the spirituality was crashing, the relationship was crashing, my emotions were crashing, my physical wellness was crashing. And I got to that very, very, very low place where I'm sure, as many of your guests have said, you literally didn't care if you didn't wake up the next morning. Like you'd actually be so okay with it. Perfect peace.
No.
No, but since the world seems to be a training ground and not a reward system.
That's a one-liner.
Get up again. And say, who the heck am I? What is my meaning? What am I supposed to do? What do I want to do? Can I go out and just live on my own even and be in the world on my own? I'd never done that. So that was a lot for being in your mid to late 20s, like never lived on my own, never been in my own place, never had a full-time job where I was fully responsible for myself financially. So the panic that came along with this entire like relationship crash, and along with a spiritual crash, was very visceral. It was very deep. And so there were a couple really dark years there, really, really dark years. There's that gnawing, that self-doubt thing, that little self-doubt voice that just screams in your ears. And you're like, gosh, I just can't get away from it. I can't get away from it. And it's sort of panic, like, what if I utterly fail in life? And so I made some geographical changes, made some other lifestyle changes, got back around, in a kind of my support network, if you will, and went for a fresh start. But I still wasn't happy. And at some point I was like, I have to do something to just give myself a kick in the pants, snap out of it already. And for me, it came as an invitation by a friend to get involved in a humanitarian organization that was very active right at that time. And I was like, wow, okay, I'll check it out. I need to do something. I need to get out. And sure enough, I mean, even within a few weeks of being involved as a volunteer, putting my troubles in perspective was a huge gift. Realizing how good I had it was a huge gift. How good I have it when so many people in the world don't. And feeling this energy come back into me, but it was campaigning for people who deserved better instead of me feeling sorry for myself. So literally campaigning for human rights and trying to make an impact on a global scale so that people had a chance to make decisions. You can't make a lot of decisions when you're wrongfully in prison. So I was like, wow, I'm free to make decisions. I have so much opportunity. I live in a country with reasonable laws to a certain extent. There is opportunity. There's resources here. There's not a lot of excuses to not go for being your best self. And these people don't even have a choice. Or they live in a country where, and I relate to a lot of women who come from a very conservative background, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose your spouse. You don't get to choose what you wear. You don't get to choose your job. You don't get to choose how many kids you have. You don't have a lot of choices. And I'm like, what about those people? Like, what about that woman who would, like, her dream would be to be an actor, but she'll never, ever be able to do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm campaigning for people, but I'm also living my life to the full. Because if I was in their position, that's what I would wish for another woman, thousands of miles away, even, Go for it. You have the opportunity. Stop whining. Get with the program. Make something of yourself. Enjoy your life. Take the opportunities that come to you, and just literally, again, get out of your head. So it's kind of a twofold liberation there, where I felt like I was making a difference again, which gave me value and vision, and also just kind of getting out of my rut that I had dug for myself, and kind of getting back in the real world. And it's amazing once you get those creative juices flowing, the energy flowing, feeling productive again, how quickly you can start feeling a lot better.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. She's preaching, y'all. That's right. Call her Pastor Ann, y'all. That's right. That's
Amen.
Right. Yeah. That's right. You should release something in the offering plate, y'all. I'm telling you. That's right.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got a religion degree.
That's right. If I'm not mistaken, one of them's actually aren't both of them history degrees, actually?
Well, I did. I got a BA in religious studies. I got a BA in history, and then I got a master's in history. And that's where the medieval emphasis and medieval women writers part came in. Yeah. Now, there's another side of me is very much like the academic nerd, but that can also become a very isolating environment. Also, at the time I was getting out of graduate school, we were hitting in the tail end of the recession, and people with far more experience or even far more education than myself were getting laid off. So for me to get a job as a professor, for example, the opportunities were very small. The income was almost negligible. And so that's when I started saying, maybe I need to do something else. I can always come back to this, but right now I feel like the inner genius is saying, open up your mind to other opportunities. So rather than completely crashing again, I said, all right, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's right. And the fact that you're also giving back, because if I'm not mistaken, you have a nonprofit, Women for the World, right?
Yeah, that's I started that about 4 years ago, and it was mostly a social media presence, and I really love doing it. And it's not my front work anymore, even though I believe in it just as much, because I got spread too thin. So now I'm kind of combining that into my Power of Joy Institute. So the Power of Joy Institute is sort of my umbrella organization now for my brand, for those support systems and groups, and kind of bringing it all together, bringing other team members in eventually, or partners and collaborators to create more content, share the joy around. Yeah.
So share the joy around like butter on bread. That's what I'm talking about,
Oh,
indeed.
yeah.
That's right, indeed.
I had some of those sourdough English muffins for breakfast with butter. Can't beat it. Yeah, those things, huge puffy muffins, toast them till they're almost brown. And then, see, I do one of two things. I either just eat salad, and I'm very, very good. Or if I indulge, I just go for it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have the burger or whatever it is, and I refuse to feel guilty for it. So I'm making a choice to enjoy it. I will not feel guilty for it. And then I also make a choice the other 6 days to eat really, really healthy. I'm like, but today pizza sounds really good.
Definitely could say that again. Really good indeed. Really good indeed. It's a Power of Joy Institute. So she's a professor for real now, y'all. That's right. Her own Institute of Joy. That's right. All the freaking joy indeed. So we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time you're in the current year with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Wow. Which piece? Okay, controversial answer number 1. Don't get married too young. it's not essential in today's society in this country. And I say, especially for women, since I'm a woman, your ability to stand on your own 2 feet and know it is critical to your joy and success in the rest of your life. I would rather see you wait and make whatever choices you need to make and know that you are good to go, that you are fine on your own. You don't have to have your parents. You don't have to have a significant other. If you can, but you don't have to. Be independent and know that you're enough. And the same goes for guys, but I speak as a woman to women in that regard. That's one really big piece of advice. The other piece of advice I already have talked about, which is make your decisions based on your inner genius. When is those big decisions, those relationships, those jobs, those do I move across the country or not? Do I make this investment or not? Yeah, do the triple bypass. Bypass the head, bypass the heart, bypass the ego, and go with the gut. Because whatever you call that, your own wisdom, divine wisdom, whatever that is for you, it's almost always 100% accurate. You can learn to trust yourself. Those are my 2 pieces.
That's what I'm talking about. That's right indeed. That's right indeed. That's right. Solid mic drop indeed, y'all. That's right. That triple bypass, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Making it on the good side, indeed. So my goodness. So if y'all ain't captured a few copies of this magical book, something wrong, y'all, because she's freaking fabulous. Live for that joy, indeed. So for those who want to keep in contact with the amazing Anne herself and all the stuff that she's doing, what's the best way for folks to do so?
Oh, wonderful. So easiest way is you can connect on my website, annescottlin.com. That's spelled ANNESCOTTLIN.com. And there's you can go to the book tab there. The book has its own URL, but if you go to the website, you get the whole shebang right there. Live for Joy is available in many marketplaces, on Amazon, on barnesandnoble.com. So check it out. I think you're going to absolutely love it. It's something that it's like a practical hug. It's going to give you a hug, but it's also going to say, get real. That's what it is. And visually very inspirational. Also have a free gift for you guys. Hey, we talked about this. I said, it's not a free gift because if it's a gift, it's already free. So why do people say that? I have a gift for you guys, which is my joy journal, which you can go to the website. You will have to type this in because this is a secret page, AnneScottlin.com/joy journal. And it's a 1-week journal that is all set up and pre-programmed for you to go. It has a bunch of wisdom in it. It has motivation, helps you find your joy. It will give you an opportunity to have a little exercise or 2 every day and see in a week how you can change your level of joy awareness. How can you become more aware of how you relate to joy in your life? For example, what steals your joy and what increases your joy, and how can you make that more real in your life every day? Because I think your joy awareness is the very best place to start. So you got that free book, free journal. You can download it and write in it digitally, or you can print it out. It's colorful, it's beautiful, it has images, and write it longhand if that's like the way you do it. So yes, please check it out and feel free to check in on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, I'm there. So come on by.
That's right. Come on by, indeed. That's right. That's right. So if you want a wonderful, super special, awesome human that's going to help you break out of that 4th wall of your current life into your true greatness, indeed, this is one lady definitely to follow, indeed, because she is not no slouch, y'all, I'm telling you. That's right. She's got some goodies for you to go ahead and grab and indulge in, indeed. Good news is it ain't over, because I'm sure she's got more coming out too.
I do. Yeah, we got a book coming together. That's all. New one's going to come out next year. So stay tuned. And that's going to be a little more of a traditional book and about the genius of joy in your job, basically. So how joy is a critical and essential element in the workplace as much as it is in your home life, your personal life. Take everything up a notch and live for joy. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's right. So if you have a lady named Joy in your life, you have to live for her, y'all. That's right. Let me
I should get my middle name. I should. Anne Joy Scotland. That's what it should be. I'm thinking so.
It's a new moniker, baby.
There you go. There you go. My dear friend Will Harris, motivational speaker, and his brand is Willpower Harris. So he goes by Willpower now. I'm like, hey, if you can do it, I can do it. There you go.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So any parting words before we close up shop, Anne?
Yes, parting words. Fill your life with kindness. Be kind to the people around you. And that alone is going to increase your joy. Not everyone's going to appreciate you reaching out, but a lot of them will. And it kind of turns your lights on too. Kind of gets you warm and happy and just in that healthy place. So practicing kindness, you cannot go wrong.
Thanks a bunch for listening to this podcast episode. Hope you really enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe to this show if you haven't already, because more greatness is coming your way. And if you're so inclined, be sure to share with at least 3 other people in your network, so that way more folks can catch the fire that is on the Going North podcast. Keep winning at life and advance others to advance yourself.